Yeah, no, I just need some clarification, Chair, because I don't want to assume that the minister meant what he wrote here on his affidavit, because he might write something and say something else which does not accord with what he has written here. When he was saying that it would have been nice to sleep in a free accommodation, was he actually confirming that indeed he slept in Matlala's apartment?
Yes,
or
I
flat?
did. Yes, I did. Sleep.
So, okay.
Yeah, I did twice.
Oh, you slept twice. Okay, thank you.
Are you fine?
Fine, fine, Chair.
Thank you. SC, let's proceed.
Can you read again?
At the bottom of the WhatsApp, Cele was putting a lot of pressure for the then acting commissioner, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Konazi, to finalize these appointments. It was during this meeting whereby they all struck a deal that Balushan and Perumal will make all the aforementioned cases to disappear, as well as Cele will be protected from prosecution for the 2010 World Cup tender corruption.
Where is Cele this time? Mkhwanazi is acting because Cele is suspended.
Where in his references? In his
Mkhwanazi is acting because Cele is suspended.
Yeah, no.
Now, Cele, from suspension, runs from suspension to come and put pressure on the acting national commissioner to work on this thing.
No, it appears that they are reviving this issue of the 2010 tender, which you're aware of.
I'm aware of
You're
it.
aware of that,
Yeah.
that tender. But they're reviving that, and this is what you say in your affidavit at at paragraph 76. I understand that this was the text message that was to be used to try and bring charges against me. I do not know why bringing charges against me was part of the project discussed by Minister Nkunu and Brown Mokgotsi with Mr. Matlala. Since I'm no longer involved in government, I suspect, however, that it may relate to my continued involvement in politics in KZN, which is relevant for the upcoming ANC election.
I affirm. That's my statement.
But isn't the real reason why they, if it is the case that they want to draw you, suck you into this by reviving 2010 stuff, that they wanted you to put pressure on General Khumalo and his ongoing investigations into, amongst others, Matlala, Molefe, Mokgotsi, this whole syndicate?
I said, don't go too far. I don't know Mokgotsi, I don't know Molefe. I know Matlala. So if you pull them together, I might get confused because I don't know.
But you know, you've met Matlala. And
Yeah.
yes, and he's telling you that.
But I don't know Molefe.
Yeah.
I've seen him getting the bail now and again. I've read that he has been arrested in London, but he still gets the bail after bail after bail. So, yes, and stories how he gets the bail, that somebody was paid for the bail and the police knew that he was going to pay so long he pays that person. So I don't know. I don't know Mokgotsi either. I only know that he comes from Mahikeng. This thing, it might be an issue, remains a suspicion to me, that is got to do with the processes of the African National Congress conference. But a person who can affirm what's an issue is a person who wants me arrested using this 2012 and sending these things and promising Matlala that I'll be arrested soon. So that's a person that can explain. Yeah. Mine could be the suspicion that maybe the suspicion that I'm not supporting the cause of somebody becoming a president or deputy president. Maybe I'm supporting other people. That one is mine. I'm not going to tell you.
Maumela owned the property. Mr. Maumela is currently the subject of an investigation by the Hawks and the SIU concerning the extraction of 2.3 billion from Tembisa Hospital.
Okay.
At the time you say of the visit to you were unaware that it was actually belonged to Mr. Maumela. I received numerous queries from a journalist, Jeff Wicks, concerning my relationship with Maumela. I can confirm that I do not have any relationship with Maumela.
I meet Matlala because now we're engaged on this presidential thing and me and all that, but talk other things. One thing that took me aback in the meeting of Zimbabwe is when I saw his protection guys. And I began to say that looks like there are faces I know here. What nearly made me fall down is when he told me that some of those guys, 23 of them, has recruited them from Special Task Force of the Army. I said to myself, what is this? He has taken 23 of the Special Task Force of the Army to guard him.
They're even recruiting some of our best, highly trained officers.
Let's see, I'm giving you the story that scared me. Why I'm scared of this story is because I've spoken to Nhlanhla earlier on and gave me the information that we have lost 56 members of the Special Task Force of Police to the taxi industry. 56. Now, I'm told that to train one member of the Special Task Force is 1.1 million to be all-rounder. One. We have lost 56 to the taxi industry. Maybe there where I threaten you of knowing. But I've got two issues here. That I can't have such a production to the private security. That's the first fear. The second fear is that looks like we're increasing the capabilities of the private security versus the state. Because I don't care how many you send, there will be a serious battle between 56 guys in the taxi industry with the 20 guys you send of the Special Task Force. So it's something that must be,
Yes, General?
is something that must be corrected, Chair. Indeed, Masimula and me, we engaged the taxi guys in KZN to say, bring back our men. They say, we pay them better. We pay them better. Talk to them. I say, guys, can we go back home? They say, Minister, we love the page. National Commission, we love the page, but we don't eat the page. Maybe that's one thing that we'll have to see what we do with our people that have high capabilities so that we keep them in a proper way. Maybe that's one case that as legislators will deal with. So I go back, Commissioner and I will go back and we discuss. We say, Commissioner, we have a leeway here of dealing with this 56. We had 3 meetings with them. The last meeting was in HR where we were preparing to bring them back. Not all of them that came back, but a big chunk came back. The leeway was that special task guys, both Army and police, they have a special allowance. The special allowance is started same level, both of them at 6,000 some years ago. Soldiers have moved to quite a high, I don't know whether to say the figure where they've moved. They've moved there as a special allowance. And the police have stayed there at the bottom. So we agreed with the National Commission that move them up where they are, which is more than 20,000 from 6,000. And then agreed, and they said, Minister, with pleasure, if you're taking care of us, we'll go back home. By the time I left, so they were being processed, quite several of them, they were going back to the police. Well, I heard Minister Mkhunu said he has fixed the matters of the special forces. No, that process started when Cele was there. But it was going to start with special forces, goes with the NIU and the CATs. CATs are not too many, and then goes to the TROT, that few that are still there. Now, with that process, SC, comes information that 23 of the army now are in the payroll of a private guy called Matlala. Anyway, I began to see them at the funeral, Honorable Malema. I began to see them at the funeral where we were together. I said, I know these voices, but at that funeral, there were more guns and flowers.
Which funeral is that?
That was Mswazi. The guy called Mswazi Mnisi, who was a taxi guy. So there were more guns and flowers. And I said to them, what is everyone you were hitting?
It's Guns and Roses.
Maybe guns, but there were more guns. So because it was a big guy in the taxi industry. Many of taxi guys, they came with helicopters in that funeral. They did not drive. Honorable Julius will remember there were many helicopters. I asked some of them, why did you use helicopters? They say no, because he was buried in his farm. You had to drive through the bush. So it was not any other thing, was to make sure that they go there. So you could see that this private security is taking the capabilities of the state. So somebody had to do something with it. And Matlala is part of him increasing his own private capability. I don't know where that is arrested now. I don't know where those guys are that have left the special task force of the army. Remember, while they train similar, but when chips are really down, those are the guys that you bring in. And they're in the private hand.
Yeah, so General, what you describe is most disturbing, isn't it? It's high level crime, sophisticated, even buying off or inducing some of our top police and army, specially trained officers, to actually employ them on their side. And obviously they're involved in what is clearly a criminal enterprise. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't have that evidence that they're involved in what is criminal.
For what purpose would they want these people to be surrounded by people that's heavily
they call
armed?
them their protectors. But it's not only them here, SC, that could be blamed. The state also must take some form of responsibility. You can't train those people. I usually call them human machines and don't take care of them. I blame them for going and all that. I don't know what are they taught to do in the private arm, but the state will have to look at them. You train me highly, you keep me highly.
A shot that taxpayers spend on training them, it's understandable that they cross the floor and go and work for these syndicates because they get more pay. And that, are you saying that we should, to stop this, we should pay our officers more? Is this one of the ways in which we can stop this criminal activity?
Not
And why do you, I think you also mentioned that, that you went back to actually negotiate the return of some of these officers back to integrate them back into the police force.
I would
Wa-
not,
wa- wa-
I would
wasn't
not
that
agree with you.
A huge risk.
I would not agree with you that they work for syndicates. Especially the police task force are recruited by the taxi industry. Those are not syndicates. There might be a lot of criminality there, but to call the taxi industry syndicates, having not have that information would be a problem. There is one thing I know with the taxi industry, is a lot of death and a lot of guns on it. I said I was a provincial MEC for transport. I spent a lot of time dealing with them. So I would sit with you here, SC, have a meeting, and then I say tomorrow we'll come back and finish the meeting, and your chair will be empty. Next day, your chair will be empty because you are gone forever. So that's what happens with that industry. Anybody who understands that industry is a brutal. There is a question they ask there. If you want to buy taxis, do you have a stick to protect the job? That's a gun. So if you are going to be in the taxi industry, you must have a gun too. That's how it goes. So I would not then say taxi industry are syndicates, but I wouldn't say that those recruited by those that are associated with syndicates like Matlala are not abused and used for that. But I would not sit here and say taxi industry guys are syndicates.
May we take Honorable Malem?
Minister, you'll agree that there is a difference between personal protectors and inkabi. Because when a person is employed to look after you as a high profile or a taxi person, that person does exactly that. And there are people who are hired to kill people. And that is the purpose of hiring inkabi for that purpose. Am I correct?
You are correct, Honorable Member, but it does happen that the very same protectors are used sometimes as inkabi and come back to their job. But there is a pool of people that are there just calling their price. There is that group of people. So that's why, and there are people that genuinely protect their principals. They call them their principals, even in taxi industry and all that. And I would not call those people syndicates.